Hey everyone, welcome back to another Intellect nursing video. Today we're going to go over hepatic encephalopathy. We're going to go over the pathophysiology, signs and symptoms, risk factors, complications, and the nursing management. So let's get right into it. If you haven't opened it up already, make sure you guys go to our pathophysiology concept maps. It's located within the gastrointestinal system section. And also there's some flashcards that will help you understand the surrounding concepts we're about to get into. But if you open up that pathophysiology concept map, you can take the notes along with this video. So first starting off with, what is hepatic encephalopathy? So if we actually break down the term, it explains exactly what it is. Enceph meaning brain, allopathy meaning a disease or a condition, and hepatic. So hepatic's the actual cause of it. So really, this is a neurological syndrome related to the disease of the liver, and it's affecting the brain. So most commonly, these are patients who have liver failure and they're accumulating a lot of ammonia. That is a neurotoxin. So when ammonia builds up in the body, it affects the brain, and it's basically a neurotoxin that we cannot get rid of. So many times this is related to patients who have chronic liver disease, or there's gastrointestinal obstructions which end up backing up and causing liver damage itself there too. So let's get into the actual pathophysiology pathway here. So the liver is responsible to break down ammonia, but when it's unable to break it down, it builds up in the blood system. And specifically, ammonia is supposed to be broken down into urea, which is then excreted through the kidneys. That is how we get rid of ammonia. But when the liver is actually unable to break down ammonia and turn it into urea, it's going to have a hard time excreting that ammonia. And not only is the liver unable to break down ammonia because of the backup, sometimes it can be so congested that it could actually even just surpass the liver in general, so it doesn't even have the ability to break down into urea. So that backs up into the portal vein and going up and then eventually reaching the brain. And that really affects our brain cells and makes patients really confused and causing encephalopathy. But one thing you really want to know for the NCLEX and the nursing exams, the main cause is ammonia. So make sure you remember that, write that down. Ammonia is the main cause of this condition. So once again, the risk factors are anything that has to relate to liver disease. So anybody who has cirrhosis, so drinking, alcoholism, hepatitis is another cause, excessive protein intake, although extremely rare compared to other causes. But remember that for your nursing management. So when we're talking about diet here in a second, of course, we're probably not going to give them a lot of protein or a high protein diet. Sometimes infection where it attacks the liver itself and causes damage there. And once again, a GI obstruction. Now getting into these signs and symptoms, we're going to break it down by 4 grades. And this is how your textbooks will usually break it down by severity, basically. So there's grades 1 through 4. We're going to go over through each one of these. So grade 1, of course, is the least severe. They might have a normal level of consciousness, right? They are aware, they're awake, but they might be lethargic. So they not might be completely alert, right? But they are still awake. And then the second one is that you'll start having something called constructional apraxia. And that means basically, if you think construction, you're building things, assembling things. Well, constructional apraxia is the inability to draw or put things together or assemble things. So your brain knows what it has to do, but sometimes they're just unable to do it. So that's basically your patient with constructional apraxia. Once again, that's grade 1. Now with grade 2, they may be drowsy and they might have mood swings, so their behavior starts to change. And then one thing that is a hallmark sign and symptom in general with all of this is something called asterixis. So if you have a patient, for example, holding their hands up like this, like directing traffic, but if you go ahead and pull their wrist back, they will have something where there's uncontrollable jerking or flapping of the hands. So you'll see something like this. So they are unable to keep their hands still, and it's really just showing that there's nerve irritation, basically. So the nervous system is a little irritated. It's all related to what's going on in the central nervous system going into the peripheral. So that is because, once again, a buildup of ammonia irritating those nerve cells. So they are unable to really hold it still like this. So when you push their wrist back and then have it let go, they won't be able to hold it still. They'll be like having a jerky or flappy movement here. So that's asterixis. And then you have something called fetor hepaticus, and that's basically just bad breath that smells like sulfur. So it does not smell good. Sometimes it's called liver breath. But it's basically because the liver is unable to break down all the toxin. And then stage 3 gets even worse. So now they might have stupor, increased confusion, or incomprehensible speech. And then they have even more nerve irritation by increased deep tendon reflexes, so they're hyper-reflexive, and then also they're very rigid, so increased rigidity is something you'll see on the NCLEX when they test about it. That's your grade 3 hepatic encephalopathy. So you're seeing it kind of progress. It went from asterixis in grade 2 because it showed fine motor a little bit, and now it's getting even worse where you're just seeing it in everywhere, basically, where they're very rigid and increased deep tendon reflexes. They might also even have a positive Babinski, so that's also showing another, once again, nerve irritation. And then you have grade 4, which is of course the worst. They might even be comatose, so they might be unresponsive. And once it gets so bad where the pneumonia is really bad, it irritates the nerves to the point where they have absolute absent reflexes in general. So what are the complications with this? So you might have irreversible coma. So if you don't treat the issue, the ammonia will continue to build up and continue to be a neurotoxin to the brain, and it might cause permanent damage. Now, of course, if you're not conscious, think of all the other complications such as aspiration, respiratory failure. So all of those other things are, of course, applicable here. Specifically towards the brain, you might have brain herniation or a stroke. Now moving on to nursing management. So let's first go over what is actually confirming this. So of course, you're going to have a patient who's delirious. All those signs and symptoms that I just mentioned to you, those will match up to possible hepatic encephalopathy. Now, of course, they're going to have to diagnose this. One of the main things of, once again, since the main cause of this is ammonia, we're going to check a lab and we're going to see what their ammonia level is in their blood. And if it's really high, then it's a likelihood that this is the problem, hepatic encephalopathy. You also might have a high bilirubin as well, since this is related to the liver. The liver is unable to, of course, filtrate and process things like it usually does and breaks down things. It's also going to have a high bilirubin. So going back to that, if you know that jaundice is a sign of liver cirrhosis or liver damage, then of course that may be one of your signs and symptoms associated. Now, if you think of it, it makes the management super simple. We know that ammonia is the main cause, that the diagnostic is ammonia, and then what do you think the management will be focused on? Reducing the ammonia. So what reduces the ammonia? It's a medication called lactulose. So lactulose is the medication you'll want to know about for your NCLEX and your nursing exams. That is the main management medication for this condition. So how lactulose actually works, it'll actually help the body excrete the ammonia through the bowel system. So it'll go through the gastrointestinal system. The only problem is it will cause diarrhea, of course. That is the side effect. So since this causes diarrhea, you're going to look out for what? Electrolyte imbalances, especially for potassium. So you're going to look out for hypokalemia. And if we take their labs and they have a low potassium level, then of course we're going to just replace that potassium. Now remember when we said one of the risk factors is excessive protein intake? Now of course, not a likely cause that this actually causes hepatic encephalopathy, but it's something to note because for your management, if they ask what an appropriate diet would be for this kind of patient, it would not be a high protein diet. So they're going to be on a low protein diet. And of course, the obvious thing is avoiding alcohol or anything that can damage the liver. And of course, increase hydration. Sometimes if this is really severe, or especially if the patient is NPO or if it's related to a gastrointestinal obstruction, then we might put a nasogastric tube inside the patient's stomach to then, of course, suction it out. So use it as a drain. And that will also help get rid of the ammonia there too. So as a nurse, you're of course wanting to manage the confusion, the delirium, which can get pretty aggressive sometimes depending on the patient or just dangerous in general. So you want to allow a non-stimulative environment. Make sure there's not some loud noises or bright lights constantly or constant activity. Keep the room quiet for the patient, and of course, talk in a soft and calm voice. But really, the management is going to be focused on giving that lactulose to get the ammonia down as fast as possible. That is usually the #1 method to do so. And of course, along the way, you're going to be tracking intake and output very carefully, monitoring the gastrointestinal system. Of course, you're going to have a patient with diarrhea, so that makes this, of course, at risk for wounds, for example. So frequent turning, making sure the patient stays in a safe environment. All right, guys, that takes care of hepatic encephalopathy. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys want to see more videos like this, go through our Intulect nursing course, and you'll find videos such as myocardial infarctions, heart blocks, EKG rhythms, all the things you'll need to know about for the NCLEX and a nursing exam. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.